See. All right, folks. We're testing something new because one, we've never done this before, and two, I wanted to see if it'll work, to be honest with you. But what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be covering, a couple of the reasons that we decided to retire early, and hopefully that helps some of you, make a decision or make a more informed decision for yourselves, because I think it's really important for us to be more informed these days. And so I want to do my best to make sure, Stephanie and I do our part to help you be more informed on making, retirement decisions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover, 5 of the top reasons that we decided to retire. And I hope that it's informative for you. And hi, those of you who are watching. Again, this is all new to us, so we're learning as we go with this live stuff and vertical lives. So I'm sure we're catching some of you going to work. We have Carnival holiday going on right now, so we're on holiday. And so our kids are home. So we're trying to produce content, write our content, all that fun stuff while the kids are home and napping. So Oliver is down for a nap, our 2-year-old, and Ben just got home from a play date, and Stephanie's trying to get him to take a nap. But if you have kids, you know that 4-year-olds are not particularly most keen on taking a nap. Let me know, I don't know if I can actually see the chat here, but let me know if you can actually hear me okay, because I want to make sure that that I can actually hear what's going on. So, all right, with that being said, let's jump into the top 5 reasons that we decided to retire early. And of course, there's other reasons that we'll share as well. And by the way, if you don't know who I am, I'm Joseph. I'm the other half, not the better half, the other half of Permission to Be Wealthy. And then my wife, Stephanie. Obviously, I think you all should know who she is at this point if you're subscribed to our channel. But, the number one thing that I think that drove us to want to retire is health. Because without health, what's the point of actually having wealth, right? Yes, we can save money for our kids and invest money for our kids, and we all know what that looks like. But the one thing that I think keeps coming back to mind for myself and for Stephanie is we could have continued to work and stressed ourselves out with work, but with that work, that stress level just increases to a point that it just didn't make sense, right? You're dealing with bosses, deadlines, and things like that. And for us, we're like, if we've invested enough, which I'll talk about a little bit later, then why would we continue to stress ourselves out at work if we could actually go do things that we enjoy doing, like creating content, creating more information for people to be able to improve their lives rather than doing the things that we were doing. And then the other thing that retiring early has allowed us to do is actually go work out. You've probably seen some of our videos here recently where we're actually, showing us working out because it's really an important part of our lives. So that's reason number 1, health. Just more time with getting and improving our health is the number 1 reason that we decided to retire. And of course, reducing that stress will just help us live longer. There's actual studies about that. Reason number 2 is once you stop chasing money, the thing that you start to realize is you may have neglected friendships and family, intentionally or unintentionally, depending on who you are. But very, very often, I think, whenever we look back, we unintentionally neglected the relationships that were the most important to us. Our family members, our friends, and people that we actually, hold dearly. So by retiring early, it's given us a chance to, start living and pursuing those relationships much deeper. We've flown back to the US twice this past year. We've had people fly here and see us, and we can just see those relationships starting to flourish because we have that time to build and make those connections that we didn't have during our working years, that strong decade plus of just pushing really hard and work. And so this early retirement has allowed us to actually pursue those relationships with much deeper admiration for what relationships can bring to you. Reason number 3 is time. Time is an infinite resource or not infinite, finite, I should say. It is infinite for as far as time goes, but it's finite for us as human beings, right? I think the average age that we all live to, especially in the United States, is 77. And so as you start kind of getting to the age that we're at, I just turned 40, Stephanie's birthday is in 11 days. We start to realize how finite that time is. And then, we don't spend a lot of it, chasing the actual goals outside of work. And so with that, early retirement, we've given ourselves more time to take these vacations, to go see family, to pursue things that we enjoy. Now for us to start learning a new language and spending more time with our kids. And hopefully those of you watching this, depending on your age, it's either your kids or your grandkids. And so if you do have the opportunity, to spend more time with them, certainly do that. And then, just I think pursuing those passion projects, which is actually reason number 4, jumping into the reason that we work so hard is to try to get that time freedom. And then after we have that time freedom, you start asking yourself, what do I do with that time? Well, you start making a list of things that you actually want to do. And that's what, we've done. We've wanted to travel more. We've wanted to, do things that actually excite us. We wanted to learn more. And so for us, these are the things that this is reason number 4 is, pursuing these passions. And, my motto is help others. And so I get to do things that actually help people. And oftentimes in that creative space that I actually enjoy and I thrive in. And it just, having the opportunity to do that, pursue those passions because we are retired and now have that time is so important. Reason number 5 is we were financially ready. I don't know where you all are in your space, and everybody has their own timeline. Everybody makes different money. Everybody has different plans, and everybody has access to different information. And we're hoping that we give people as much access to information that we've gained, and so that other people can go do these things on their own timeline. But reason number 5 is we were financially ready, and there was no reason to keep chasing one more year. I think we both could have kept chasing one more year and one more dollar, right? Another 100,000, another 200,000. And it doesn't make sense at a certain level whenever you realize that you actually can, right? And this is not boasting, I'm not that type of human being. But reason number 5 is being financially ready. And even if you're not 100% of the way there, I think you can develop skills or take the skills you got from work and probably turn those in to an income producing asset, job, career that you actually want to do and work with the clients that you want to work with sometimes. And you can actually make that extra money that you want to make or make up that work that you were probably going, I don't love this work for this boss, but if I could do it for myself, I would enjoy it. I think you would probably see that you can make that money back up, right? And that's some of the things that we're doing, and reason number 5, being financially ready is even though we're not fully retired, our other projects that we work on, including YouTube, allows us to be able to start making extra income to fulfill that full number that we want, right? And I think that's just so important for those of you who are watching this. You may be in a position where you're close to possibly being able to retire. And maybe you do want to work that one more year. Just don't get caught up in chasing that one more year unless that's just something you want to do. It just wasn't for us, right? We were ready, and we were ready to do reasons number 1 through 5. And I'll recap those really quick, and I'll dive into some statistics for you. Reason 1 again was, and these are reasons for why we decided to retire early. Reason number 1 was health. Reason number 2 was to be able to build more relationships with our family and friends. Reason number 3 is just having more time. Reason number 4 is to pursue passion projects. And reason number 5 is we were financially ready. And then what I want to make sure I discuss here is as you start learning about statistics about us as human beings is the average American retires at age 64 and then has a life expectancy of 77. So we're talking, 13 years to truly enjoy retirement. And in those working years, if you're healthy and you're, exercising and taking care of your body and going to your regular doctor's appointments, great, those 13 years could be fantastic if you get to live those 13 years. And so as we looked at those stats for us, we're like, can we do this faster, right? Can we retire faster? Do we want to spend more time in our working years, or do we want to spend more time with our kids or family pursuing these projects? And the answer was easy for us. Well, I say easy. it's easy now looking back. I think Stephanie's really enjoying the semi-retirement life and going to have lunch with other parents and, taking Ben to these different lunches, especially whenever you have a full week off. She's not having to jump on tons of calls with people from work, especially in the middle of the night. I think she just posted a Valentine's video where I wrote this, this piece to her, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. She was still on calls. She was also pregnant with Benjamin, our 4.5-year-old now. And she was probably gonna be on the call until 12:30, 1 o'clock, right? Like, think of that lifestyle versus what we live now. I mean, that alone is worth retiring early, right? If you have the opportunity. Just those hours were madness. And I know everybody doesn't have that opportunity, so I'm not trying to be naive here, right? And let me know for you what your schedules look like, what your retirement plans look like, if you have retirement plans. But yeah, I mean, working until the average age of 64, and then having 13 years to enjoy it just didn't sound great. And then the other thing that I saw the other day that was really, really cool, it was a gentleman, he was in his 80s, he made a YouTube video, and he said, did you know that you have the same amount of years from 25 to 55, right? Because you can start drawing your retirement at 59 and a half in the US. So you have the same amount of years from 25 to 55 as you do from 55 to 85. And a lot of people don't think about that. Like, you are gonna work from 25 to 59 and a half, or 25 to, age 64. And then if you're lucky, you get to live to 77 or 80 plus, then you're putting yourself in this place where you're like, okay, I worked all these years, but I was not taking care of my body, because all I could do and think about, because I had to, was taking care of my family, making money and work, right? And so I just think it's whenever he said that, I was like, man, I think we made the right decision for us. And of course, the decision for you is going to be your decision. It's going to be your family's decision, right? But for us, it was the right decision after I watched that video. Let's see, Michael says, I'm 52 and was laid off last September at 51 years old, decided to not go back to work and learn everything I can about investing and making money from investments I had, which isn't a lot. So far, it's been working well. That's awesome, Michael. I think, it goes back to, I think it's Parkinson's, if I'm not mistaken, not the illness, but I can't remember what the law is, but essentially, if we give ourselves and I'll have to look up the law again, but if we give ourselves a certain amount of time to accomplish something, then we're gonna take all that time. That's just what we do as human beings. It's the same with finances. If we say, all right, I only have this much to live off of, and if I start planning, because you have to start planning because this is what you have to live off of, you figure it out, right? And so I think that's something that we've done as we looked at our math and everything. We're like, we'll figure this out. We're in a good place, but even if we had less, we would figure it out, right? For happiness, for time, and whatever that takes. Even for us living in another country, right? That is a big decision, but that's what we did because we want to be able to enjoy life, and it's worked out fantastic, right? We live 2 blocks from the ocean, and I'm very happy. Stephanie's very happy. The boys are happy, and so you figure that out. So Michael, kudos to you. I hope you continue to figure that out. The next thing that I want to talk about, a few more statistics. I think some of you know these laws already, right? So if you can have your current spend and you have investments that are 25 times that, then you essentially are in a position to be able to retire. Now, does everybody have that? Of course not. But some of you may be looking at your spend and going, how can I decrease that spend so that I can retire sooner? And that's something to be able to look into as, you start looking into this possibility of retiring earlier. Michael says, happiness is most important. I left the US October and came over here to the Philippines, and it's the best decision I ever made. It's funny, Michael, you say that. I'm an American. I played college football at the University of Houston. I went to the Naval Academy prep school. I was gonna go to the Naval Academy and decided not to, and went to play at the University of Houston instead. And America's a fantastic country, but I think the more people start to get out, you start to realize there are some great places. Yes, there's healthcare and different things that you have to look into, but there are some great places out in the world that we as Americans are blind to because we love our country so much. But I think as you get out, like we've been to Portugal, we lived in Singapore, and if our family wasn't back in the U.S., I don't know if we'd go back, to be honest with you. And so I hope other people that watch this that are Americans do give themselves the opportunity. I was on a panel the other day, and it was for men, specifically black men, right? Because I'm black and Mexican, my heritage. And in that particular panel, what we were talking about was one of the gentlemen who was also on the panel said, everybody should, if you're planning on leaving the country, go live somewhere, go visit that place for at least 3 weeks, because after that second week, that kind of honeymoon phase is over. Maybe somebody gets a little sick, you have to go to the doctor, you have to figure out where the grocery stores are, consistently go there, and then you start realizing, is this a place I could actually live? Do I really like living here? And so for some people that might be really important. And I believe some people coin it as location arbitrage, but it's something to consider, right? So just keep that in mind as you're looking at your numbers and saying, maybe I want to retire sooner, and what do I have to do that? That might be an opportunity for some of you to lower your cost of living so that you can keep the lifestyle that you want, right? And to be honest with you, how many of us actually go see our family consistently unless they live down the street? Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas. So that's kind of how we looked at it as well. And then we have family that comes to see us, right? A couple other things, I think this is really important. Whenever it comes to looking at being able to retire, the math behind it is really important. Of course, you have the emotions. That's what I talk about. That's really big to me. And Stephanie's obviously the math side of things, the analytical side of things. And I think that works well for our relationship. But you have to start working backwards. And so what I implore all of you to do is really take a hard look at this is a great time to do this also, because we're just into the second month of the year, going back into 2023 and looking at your expenses for the year to see what they were. What are your fixed costs? And then look at what your, other expenses were that were surprises, if you will, or emergencies, and say, what are my fixed costs? And if you can look at that and then do the Rule 25 that we're talking about, I think you get a better sense of when you could actually retire. And you can start mapping out places that you might want to live in order to live off of that income from your investments. And then also look at your skill set and see what jobs are out there, right? So these are just a few of the things that I thought were important and that I want to discuss. I think Stephanie made a video the other day where last year we pulled out 3.8% of our investment portfolio, and we're still sitting really nice, right, at 3.8%, and we're happy with that. And then I still have my company. We're doing some pivoting in our company, and that'll change some things. But overall, I think that we're right on track where we want to be. And as we're continuing to look at this money, we say, this 4% rule is sitting pretty well for us, as long as our investments keep making 8%. But you will have some give and take in that, and we have to be realistic about that as well. Let's see. NON says, thanks for inspiring us to take more risk and to never settle down, moving to Portugal and setting up a new life and claiming back time with family. Absolutely. My pleasure. I think we have to take a hard look, and sometimes it takes a little encouragement. We learn from other people. Before we took this leap, I lived overseas a couple of different times because of that's my personality. I want to go visit different places. But yeah, my pleasure, and thank you for being a part of this community. We really do appreciate it. With that being said, I know it's like mid-morning in the US, I guess. I have to look at my phone, which I'm on right now, so I can't. So I appreciate you jumping on. Those of you who are semi-retired, those of you who are retired, those of you who are planning to retire, we really appreciate you being a part of our community, and we look forward to seeing you. I have this content actually coming out in the video, so make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed, and you'll get to see a nicer version of this background and everything that we have here. But have a blessed day. Thank you, and let us know if you have any questions or comments. Drop them in our videos. We'll do our best to answer those. All right, guys. Thanks. Bye.